okay to be a man.
It's not okay. It's necessary.
See, hell must have been created for other beings because real men pass through hell every day and show up like nothing happened. And when you ask a real man, how are you doing? His response is almost always, I'm fine. But no, he's not fine. He's going through stuff, but he's trying to be tough. And that's a real man. If a real man ever asks you for money, it almost always means that he has exhausted all his options. And guess what? It's almost always not for himself. It is for people that depend on him. The people that will starve to death because of him. No matter who the man is, no matter how terrible and bad he is, his natural instinct is always to provide and protect people around him. If a man asks you for money, give it to him. Even if he looks like he doesn't need it. It means he really needs it. Because men don't ask for money to buy the latest iPhone or fancy stuff, fancy jewelry. Men don't ask for loan to afford Dubai trips. If a man ever asks you for money, it's almost always his very last option. Because even as a man, your ego wouldn't allow you to beg for money anyhow. Even when you look at this person has not even paid back the one they asked for before, it's almost always because they can't even afford it. There's always something holding them down. So if you can always help a man close to you, help them. If you can't help them, at least ask them, how are you doing? Let them say it one more time that they're fine. Men are going through a lot. Go through all the statistics in all the countries in the world. Men always die earlier than women. 3 to 10 years earlier than women. Why? Because the average man out there sacrifices his life for his family. Every day he's working. Some men do all this work, and by the time they retire, they come back to their family becomes strange to them. Because what? While they were going to work every day, the family was spending time with the wife or the mother. So these children grow up knowing the mother better than the man who provided the house, who paid the school fees, who did everything for them, just because he wasn't around. Now, if he was around, he wouldn't have raised enough money to provide that kind of life for them. So if you ever see a man going through stuff, especially financial challenges, help them. Even if they can't pay back, it's fine. And they come back next time, it means they still need it more. If you can do that, help them the more. Because men are going through stuff. You never know when a man is at his very last day on earth, because he has run out of a lot of options. And if a man ever offends you, don't kick them when they are down. Wait for some time. Let them recover from whatever caused them to do the offense. And then you can remind them later that what they did, you did not like it. Most men are going through a whole lot of stuff. We men, we're just trained to take it in. Because who else will help you? As a woman, you can spend all your money, and then everybody else runs to your aid. But when you're a man, if you ever lose all your money, you lose your respect instantly. And it's going to even start from family members. Once you lose your job as a man, you've lost your dignity. And it starts from your family, before your friends, and then before the average man on the streets. So, if you can do anything to keep a man's job, do that. Don't be the reason why a young man or a young woman or a hardworking person loses their job. Support any man you see today. It's a tough world out there for men. Now think of what it costs a man to even date. For a woman to be able to attract a handsome man, this woman, all she has to do is to apply makeup. But for a man to attract a beautiful woman, he has to study, he has to work hard, he has to do apprenticeship, and he has to do everything to get rich. Then after getting rich, he has to take care of his health, to look well, physically fit, take care of himself, And then he has to buy that Lamborghini, and then he has to have the courage to even talk to the woman and then persuade her until she agrees. And then he has to start spending on vacations and trips and outings. Look, by the time he's able to afford all these things to even talk to the woman, he's already old. Think of what it costs a man to even marry. In many cultures, especially in Africa here, a man has to sponsor the whole marital rights, the whole wedding project. A man has to sponsor it financially. And to think that this man is marrying a woman in his age bracket, it's crazy. At the end of the day, he has to afford a house for the wife and possibly a car. And then he has to be ready to pay for school fees in the next 2-3 years. And this is just a young man marrying. Think of what he went through to be able to afford that, while the person is marrying is financially incapable and nobody's saying anything about it. Because what? It's normal for women, but abnormal for men. So if you're a young lady and you ever ask a man for money and he says he can't afford it, believe him. Men are wired to provide for people around them. But if he can't afford it, it is because he really can't afford it. Don't be there assuming that men have all the money all the time. You don't know how many people that will starve to death if he uses the money he have to transfer it to you. If a young man ever takes you out, appreciate whatever he can afford, because it's really tough out there for men. As a man, if your money finishes, who are you going to sleep with to get more money? Nobody. If you're seen crying on the road, nobody's going to help you. So appreciate every man around you, especially your fathers at home, your brothers. Think of what your father has to go through every day to provide for the family. And then they shield you from the suffering. No father wants their family to know the suffering they're going through. There are so many parents that don't even allow their family to come see the work they're doing, because the work is so inhuman and terrible. Think of men cleaning all the dirty places in the world. They don't allow their family to come see it. But at the end of the day, after doing some dirty jobs, they bring back clean money. And then somebody in the family doesn't appreciate it because he is not able to buy them some fancy stuff, or is not able to remember their birthday. You don't know what the man is going through. Men are going through a lot in life. Appreciate whatever any man around you is able to provide. And anytime you have something to support with, reach out to the man, ask them how they're doing, and be willing to provide for them. Many men will not accept at first because of what? Ego. But if you can persuade them, you can help them. Thank you very much. Share this video.